your own words that could be heard throughout those events that have brought you here to this seat in my courtroom. Because we heard it all. And what came out on the tapes said to me, and obviously to the jury, that the evidence in this case was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. How often, as a judge, do I sit and listen to a trial and hear everything laid out for me to be able to hear? It's very rare. Now, the event in question in the room at the Palace Station, where I went to that room, it was a little bitty room, and there were a lot of you big guys in that little bitty room. And when I heard the tape, that was not a, oh, just give me my stuff back, I want my stuff. That was nobody leave the room. That was actually a very violent event. And I don't care what Beardsley says now, or what Fromong says now. I know what Beardsley says immediately afterwards when he called the police. We heard that too. That was a violent event. Guns were brought. At least one gun was drawn. The potential for harm to occur in that room was tremendous. And I don't know how fortunate you consider yourself to be at this moment, but really, truly, if the gun had gone off and bullets started flying, not only could one in the room have been hurt, but some poor tourist walking down the hallway or worker at that hotel could have been hurt. That is why we have rules in the state of Nevada that say you can't take back your own property by force, and anybody else's property by force. You can't do it. There's no self-help. You cannot do it. But you did. Now, I hear Mr. Glanter, he says, oh, Mr. Simpson was just stupid. He didn't really mean to do anything wrong. That is not really evidenced by what transpired here. When you take a gun with you and you take men with you to show in a show of force, that's not just a, hey, give me my stuff back. That's something else. And that's what went on here. And that's why we're all here. Because this is not behavior that we can just say, oops, it's okay, no problem. Don't worry. No harm, no foul. Then, after the event, all of a sudden the realization hits and there are phone calls made. There was no gun. There was no gun. There was no gun. Mr. Simpson made those phone calls. There was no gun. Well, why in the heck would he be calling anybody to say there was no gun? Except for the fact that he realized there was a gun, and ups, I might be in some trouble. And then, at the party, the laughter, the joking, did you see the look on his face? Ha ha ha, isn't this funny? You knew what was going on there. You knew. And Mr. Stewart, you got caught up in something. I'm not sure how much you knew, but clearly Mr. Simpson knew. I actually am surprised that I heard from you, Mr. Simpson. I had believed that there wasn't going to be a statement from you, and I was going to be concerned about your lack of responsibility for this action. And it's kind of a fine line in what you said to me. I hear what you said and what Mr. Galanter said, which is, I didn't intend to do anything wrong, so I must not have done something wrong, so there was no criminal intent. It was just all stupidity. I have to tell you now, it was much more than stupidity. And it's very rare that I have somebody talking to me at a sentencing about mens rea and criminal intent. It really doesn't matter. You went to the room, you took guns, meaning you and the group. You used force. You took property, whether it was yours or somebody else's. And in this state, that amounts to robbery with use of a deadly weapon. Whether it's you having the gun, or Mr. McClinton having the gun, or Mr. Alexander having the gun. When I first started this trial and I talked to the jury when we had the whole panel in, I stated to the group that if they were here because they wanted to punish Mr. Simpson for what had happened previously, then this wasn't the case for them. And I meant that. As the judge in this case, I'm not here to sentence Mr. Simpson for what's happened in his life previously in the criminal justice system. As a judge who presides in this courtroom every day and over trials, hundreds of trials during the 6 years I've been here, I have great respect for the criminal justice system.